If you're a fan, what you'll see in the next minutes, hours, and days to follow may convince you you've gone to sports heaven. Beyond that blue horizon is a limitless world of sports, and right now you're standing on the edge of tomorrow. Sports, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with ESPN, the Total Sports Cable Network. Yea, verily, a sampler of wonders. Hi, I'm Lee Leonard, welcoming you to Bristol, Connecticut, 110 miles from New York City. Why Bristol? Because here in Bristol is where all the sports action is as of right now. And we're just minutes away from the first event on the ESPN schedule. That's the 1979 NCAA College Football Preview. And then we're going to follow that with a doubleheader of games. 2 of the Professional Slow Pitch League World Series games will be seen tonight. Now, softball is one of those rare sports that everybody knows something about. Why? Because we all play it on Sunday when we drink a little beer. Now, here's another innovation on ESPN, and it's going to be a big part of our future. The SportsCenter with George Grande. He'll have the latest on what's happening all around. George?
Thanks, Lee, and welcome everyone to the ESPN SportsCenter. From this very desk in the coming weeks and months, we'll be filling you in on the pulse of sporting activity, not only around the country, but around the world as well. If it takes an interview, we'll do it. If it takes play-by-play, we'll do it. If it takes commentary, we'll do that too. That's the way we'll function from the ESPN SportsCenter, and we'll be filling you in on further updates as the broadcast progresses.
Now, I'm still not sure just exactly how it works, but here's a man who can show us. Bill Rasmussen, board chairman of ESPN, who along with his son Scott put it all together.
Years ago, tales of Jules Verne and Buck Rogers were made of dreams and wild bits of imagination. Today, modern technology has taken those dreams and that imagination and turned it into a reality that allows us to bring a television picture into your home via satellite. The picture you're watching right now has been taken by a camera sent through some sophisticated equipment to this Earth transmitting station, which in turn feeds a satellite located 22,300 miles above the equator just south of Hawaii. The satellite receives the picture, sends it to an Earth station near your home, which in turn takes the picture over cable into your living room set. Total elapsed time, 1/5 of 1 second. Let me put that into perspective. Take any one of the next several words that I'll mention. From the beginning of the word to the end of the word, the picture will come from our camera to our transmitting station, up to the satellite, and onto your screen. To graphically illustrate what happens in that 1/5 of 1 second, our cameraman takes a picture at a football stadium, for example. That picture is fed into our ESPN remote truck, out of the remote truck to an Earth transmitting station, up to the satellite over the equator, back down to an Earth receiving station, over a cable in your hometown, into your television set in your living room. Now you know how the picture gets into one specific house, and if you're curious as to how it works over the entire country, here's how it looks. If I held a flashlight over the state of Colorado and then backed off to a position 22,300 miles above the Earth, that flashlight picture would cover the entire North American continent.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome to DePaul University. I'm Joe Boyle, and I'll be handling the play-by-play for tonight's game between the Badgers and the Blue Demons. To my left, former coach at Rutgers, Detroit University, and with the Detroit Pistons in the NBA, Dick Vitale. And Dick, we've got a game between two teams. DePaul coming out of the NCAA tournament a year ago. Wisconsin, one of the dark horse candidates in the Big Ten.
Well, it should be a classic matchup. College basketball excitement, enthusiasm. When you talk about Wisconsin, you're talking about a team that's won their last four last year, Joe. They beat the likes of Michigan. They beat the likes of Michigan State, the national champion, and they beat Ohio State and Northwestern. Won their first two games this year. DePaul, this is the home opener. I talked to Ray Meyer earlier, and the little guy who America fell in love with, Ray Meyer's going for $5.98, and he is concerned. When we talk about Wisconsin, we have to start off by talking about Wes Matthews. Or TNT, Dynamite. We have Terry Cummings and Teddy Grubbs. Two blue chippers from out of the public school league in Chicago, where Marquette University for once was not able to get the blue chippers like they did in the past in getting Bo Ellis and getting Lloyd Walton. We talk also about this basketball team. We have to talk about Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre is the best freshman in America last year. The guy's a scoring machine. It'll be a classic matchup, Joe. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready, and we'll be back with the starting lineup for tonight's game between DePaul and Wisconsin in just a moment.
This ESPN program is being brought to you by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, brewers of Michelob beer. Weekends were made for Michelob.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Simpson, along with Ken Woodard, and a capacity crowd here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, where Alabama puts its #1 ranking on the line again. But before we talk about specific players, Ken Woodard, this is one of the few times that we walk into, or at least I walk into a stadium and think only of coaches. First of all, Johnny Majors, not so young, highly successful at Pittsburgh, now trying to rebuild at Tennessee.
Well, he's come home, and the Tennessee partisans are very thankful for that. Johnny Majors knows what it takes to build a national championship. You know, he had one in 1976, and he's a former National Coach of the Year.
We'll take a look at specific players and both teams when we come back to Legion Field right after this.
A lot of people think that the Wall Street Journal will help a man get ahead in business. It can. The Wall Street Journal will tell a man every business day what is happening in business, here and everywhere around the world. It can give you information, insights, and facts that you can get nowhere else. The Wall Street Journal has the world's largest staff of business news experts. Their job is to find anything that can affect you, your company, and your future, and report it to you. The Wall Street Journal delivers to you every business day all the business news you need, when you need it. Will that help a businessman get ahead? It can. And a businesswoman. Congratulations, TJ.
Thank you.
It can help you. Subscribe now. Get the Wall Street Journal delivered every business day for 20 weeks for only $22. Just phone 1-800-228-2200. We'll bill you later. That's 20 weeks of the Journal, 100 copies for only $22. Phone 1-800-228-2200 now.
The tendency is to talk about quarterbacks when you talk about football teams, sometimes perhaps more than we should. But when you consider that the Tennessee quarterback is the all-time leading ground gainer in Tennessee football history, when you consider that the Alabama quarterbacks are 1-2 in rushing for the #1 team in the nation, we'd better talk about quarterbacks. Let's start out with Jimmy Street of Tennessee.
Well, Jimmy Streeter's an all-purpose back, and he happens to be at quarterback. I think he could play anywhere on the football field. He can run, he can throw the ball. He calls an excellent game. A highly recruited athlete out of Silver, North Carolina, and he really makes the offense of Tennessee go. Johnny Majors feels as long as Jimmy's under that center that they've got a chance to win.
He's going to have to be under that center a lot today to hold off the Crimson Tide, who have not one but two great quarterbacks, but we're going to talk about one.
Well, Stedman Shealy, who else could you talk about? He's leading the Alabama ball club in rushing. Coach Barrett Bryant made a rare statement about an individual. He said he could be the best wishbone quarterback he's ever coached, and that's saying a whole lot coming from Barrett.
I said something when we came on the air, and don't you forget it. This is one of the big Southeastern Conference rivalries in football history. Paul Barrett Bryant says our problem is we don't have enough youngsters down here that remember how big this game is. It is a big one, and we'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment.
They're everywhere. Today's physical Americans. If you're one of them, there's a new cologne made just for you. Racket Club. It gives a man the physical advantage. It's like that terrific feeling when you know you're going to win it. Racket Club, the new cologne for men. It's crisp, stylish, exhilarating. Racket Club, wear it.
Wendy says it's my most effective weapon.
New Racket Club Cologne by English Leather, the physical advantage.
Weekends were made for Michelob. Weekends were made for special friends. It's the time to have that smooth and mellow beer. It's Michelob.
Every weekend is really a little vacation at the end of the week. And doesn't that call for Michelob?
Weekends were made for Michelob.
Yeah.
Tennessee won the toss. Alabama's Tim Clark will kick it off, and Gary Moore takes it at the 13-yard line, loses the football, and Tennessee drops on it at about the 18-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Tennessee.
Steve Davis, Brad White, Kenny Jones, they're all coming. I tell you, they can't keep them out right now. Steve Davis makes a good move here, and he grabs him first, and everybody joins in.
Roland James, if they get the punt off before the end of the quarter, and they will, James will have a chance to return this one from the 40-yard line out to about the 47-yard line, where it's first down, and that's the end of the quarter. That's the end of the quarter. A touchdown pass from Streeter to Ingram. Streeter scored from 3 yards out. Here's the shocking score at the end of one quarter. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Tennessee 14, number 1 in the nation, Alabama, nothing.
If anyone knows how to build a championship tennis ball, it's Penn. In fact, Penn makes more tennis balls than anyone in America. And tests them electronically for quality and response to give the serious player the kind of tennis ball he demands. Long play, lively bounce, and consistent performance off the racket. Penn, the ball to play when you're serious about tennis.
This Bud's for everyone is into lightning speed and thunder.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Miss Budweiser, 3,000 horses coming at you, together with the clean, crisp taste of the king of beers.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
I'm Frank Schroeder. If you're like me, this is the only kind of running you want to do on a business trip. That's why you should stay at a Hilton, because Hilton can put you within walking distance of almost every business, financial, and entertainment center in the country.
Good morning, Mr. Shorter. Good morning, Mr. Shorter.
So when it's time to get down to business, why run when you can walk?
There's no place like Hilton.
I looked at Rabbit, Chevette, and Civic. But once I looked at this new Mazda GLC, that's all it took.
Just one look, that's all it took. Yeah, just one look, that's all it took.
I really like Mazda GLC's great standard features and its great mileage. I also like the looks of its nice low price, just $39.95.
Yeah, the more you look, hey, the more you like.
With Kedwell and I'm Jim Simpson. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. The beginning of the second quarter. It's 14-0 Tennessee. 1st and 10 Tennessee at their own 46-yard line. Streeter on a quick pitch back to Gary Moore. Moore hops one man, gets into Alabama territory. And Harper very nearly caught it.
Reggie Harper runs it down in a cross pattern, and I tell you, he almost comes up with one of the great catches of the year. He dives here, and it almost stays on the ends of his fingers. Very fine effort.
And now a 45-yard field goal attempt by Alan Duncan. He has the wind at his back. From 45 yards out, it is good.
I tell you, they've got it going, Jim.
Alan Duncan kicks a 45-yard field goal. And with 12:58 to go in the first half, it is 17-0 Tennessee.
I cannot sit here and think, other than the fact that dynasties are made on games like this. Johnny Majors comes into Tennessee. They've been down for 3, 4, 5 years, and he's got a chance to change his whole program around in one Saturday afternoon in Legion Field.
He looks like he'll be back.
Well, I hope he is for Tennessee's sake. I don't know how much Gillespie's practiced at middle guard, but he's listed as a tackle, and he's a big guy. I don't know whether he's ever had any experience there.
Third down and a yard to go, reminding that ESPN has hockey for you. United States Olympic team against the University of Minnesota. Right here on ESPN. Third down and a yard to go for Alabama at the 31-yard line of Tennessee. Quick pitch back to Major Ogilvie, who's got the first down and fumbled the ball out of bounds at the 25-yard line. But it's a first down to Alabama. Bates ran him out of bounds. That's the 15th interception. Alabama leads the nation in that department. Stedman Shealy is back in. Shealy all by himself. Look at this. Touchdown! How about that? Tim Travis got away from everybody. And Alabama quickly is back in the ball game.
Tennessee betting on a running play all the way. Tim Travis, no one within 15 yards of him, is just floating down the field. He fakes that handoff to Whitman and lays it up for Travis.
Alabama quickly on the board, using a turnover of its own. Getting that ball away from Tennessee is Streeter. Pass was intercepted after being batted up. Alan McElroy was 17 for 19 with Humphrey to hold. Big point, no doubt about it. 9:03 to go, and it is 17-7. Tennessee leads Alabama. Alabama, a team that leads in rushing, went to the air for its touchdown, and that's only the second touchdown that's scored through the air all year.
Oh, Shealy fakes that little handoff to Whitman. He drops back, and all the defensive backfield is up, and all he has to do is lay it out there. Travis almost before he gets to the goal line, but he puts it in there anyway.
That is the 29th touchdown scored by Alabama this year. 26 have been on the ground. One was on an interception returned by E.J. Jr. And now you've just seen the second pass caught for a touchdown. And realizing that Alabama wants to keep this drive alive. 4:58 to go in the half, and it's 17-7 Tennessee. Well, around the world they call it football. Here in our country we call it soccer. And Clemson was ranked third in the country last year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They haven't lost a game since 1971. Later on from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Clemson and North Carolina in soccer. Chapel Hill, is that a pretty place?
It's a beautiful place. I have personal knowledge of it. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to play soccer there. I think I would enjoy it, though.
Your coach when you were in North Carolina was?
Jim Hickey.
Jim Hickey. Oh, momentum at the moment is with Tennessee. Well, this coming week, the Kessler Classic from Greenwood, Indiana. For the first time since 1965, the PBA is back there. I hope you saw our coverage last week of the Kessler Open in Battle Creek, Michigan. What an outstanding match that was, with Larry Love seeded fifth, winning every single match he had to take the $11,000 first prize. First down 10 from the 49.5-yard line of Tennessee. 39 seconds to go. Berry and Simpson the setbacks. And Streeter back to throw. Throws long. He's got a man out there off his fingertips. Hancock had his man beat. Would have been 6 points.
Anthony Hancock will think about this the rest of the year. He was wide open. He had him beat. And I thought he had the ball. He's got super hands. He's a great athlete. Jimmy Streeter lays it out. Here he runs a post pattern. Straight drop back. Everything to gain. Streeter lays it up. Hancock outraces him. Oh! Barely gets away from him.
That ball is about the best Jimmy Streeter has thrown all day long. Second down and 10. Streeter hands off this time, and straight ahead down to the 44-yard line goes Gary Moore. 25 seconds to go, and they'll have to call time again. Well, there's one of the real shockers. It's only half a football game. We've got 30 more minutes of playing time left, but I'll give you the score. The University of Tennessee 17, and number 1 ranked Alabama 7.
I'm Ed Thompson, the editor and publisher of a unique magazine, Smithsonian. More than the official magazine of the Smithsonian Institution, it's a voyage of discovery. The curious, probing minds of our editors share with you their exploration of the human race, of life, the arts, secrets of the past, the universe, and hopes for the future. Join the voyage by joining the Smithsonian Institution as an associate member. For only $12, you'll receive 12 issues of Smithsonian, discount on books, gifts, and travel opportunities. I invite you to share our concerned, challenging, and best of all, enjoyable search.
For your associate membership and a year's subscription to Smithsonian Magazine, call toll-free 1-800-528-6050. That's 1-800-528-6050. Call now. You'll be billed later.
I don't know that you can tell the music in the background. I don't expect that you can, but it is the Tennessee band playing Whistle a Happy Tune. And are they whistling a happy tune? I'll let Ken Woodard have his shot in a moment, but Ken, 9 points have been scored all year long against Alabama. Less than 2 points per ball game. Tennessee has 17. Now, admittedly, Alabama stopped themselves with 4 lost fumbles.
I think that was a big thing there, Jim. You know, I have to say that you've been telling me all day that we're going to have a heck of a ball game, and I told you before we came out, I thought Alabama was a great football team.
They are.
It just so happens that Tennessee's playing great today, and I think that they came in here prepared, and they want to show a lot of people they're back to stay. And I'm impressed with the Tennessee offensive line. They were piecemeal, a lot of injuries. They're coming on, they're playing great football, and they're hitting people.
You know, Alabama, to speak of them, they are a team that is rated #1, and so many people around the country have told me they're not only #1, but perhaps the best team they've seen in some time. And I'll go back to what Paul Bear Bryant said before this game. I'm scared to death. Let's get this thing over. None of these young kids here knows what it means to play Tennessee. And he said, and Tennessee knows.
I think you made a good point there. You know, it was only a few years ago when the Tennessee-Alabama game was really a swing game. It could go either way. Well, of course, Paul Bear Bryant remembers those ball games, but nobody at Tennessee has been playing during an era when they were great ball games. I think likewise in Alabama, none of their players. I think what Bear was saying, in effect, was, hey, Tennessee remembers, and these guys better be ready.
The Volunteers have lost 8 in a row to Paul Bear Bryant and Alabama. They may lose again today, but right now in this first half, they're whistling a happy tune. And we'll come back to Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, in just a moment.
Mark Wilson has followed the tradition of outstanding quarterbacks at Brigham Young University. His excellence on the field and in the classroom is typical of what today's student athlete represents. Leadership, dedication, teamwork, a concern for the future. Mark's experience at BYU is an exciting example of college football's role in preparing productive citizens.
Football at Brigham Young is an important part of my life. But just the opportunity to participate in sports is more exciting than all the publicity and glory that go along with it. Drugs have become too important in the lives of many young people. If the time and effort wasted on drugs were put into sports participation, many of these confused youth would become happier and more productive. Looking for a challenge? I gave sports a try. Why don't you? Get high on sports, not drugs.
Jim Simpson with Ken Willard, Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. And here comes the pride of the Crimson Tide, their band. And let us, along with the capacity crowd here, enjoy the University of Alabama Marching Band. And I'm sure they will entertain well, trying to forget for the moment at least that their team trails to Tennessee 17-7. University of Alabama Crimson Tide Marching Band. 17-7, Alabama trails Tennessee at halftime. We'll come back with the statistics and look forward to the second half kickoff in just a moment.
This is my friend Emilio. I remember about 10 years ago when he was working at the factory. He used to say to me, "You know, Miguel, someday I want to be my own boss, own my own business." But when you got a large family like Emilio, try to save some money. Man, it's hard, I know. So it was a good idea when he asked the man he worked for and found out about the federal savings plan. Just what Emilio needed. This way, a few dollars from his paycheck went into the plan every week. And soon those savings bonds start piling up. It's a good feeling when a man works hard for years and finally gets what he wants. Like Emilio, all you need is a little luck, a little plan, and a good dream.
Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, and a shocker of a first half. And here are the statistics, Ken Willard.
Well, Tennessee is dominating the ball game to an extent, but not to the extent of that score. 111 yards to 88. Yards passing, Alabama 83 to Tennessee's 38. Total yards only 149 and 171 for Alabama. That is surprising to me. But the big crucial thing is the turnovers. 7 turnovers, 6 fumbles by Alabama, 4 of them lost to Tennessee. That's the major story here, Jim.
Well, we were saying 4 out of 5 fumbles, but we found that when Jacobs had a little difficulty bobbling the ball and fell on it, that statistically was a fumble, so they've lost 4 out of 6. The big story is, of course, that the second fumble set up the first Tennessee touchdown, and Streeter found Ingram for 12 yards of the score midway in the first quarter. And then after a march after punt, Streeter went in from 3 yards out, and surprisingly it was 14-0 at the quarter. Beginning the second quarter, a 45-yard field goal by Alan Duncan, 17-0 Tennessee. And then White recovered a fumble at the 25-yard line. It went for naught, and then Jones intercepted another Tennessee ball, this time at the 33, and then they got something going. Stedman Shealy on first down hit Travis for 33 yards to the score, and that's how the half ended, 17-7 Tennessee. That's the nation's #1 band of the nation's #1 football team on the school. But the ranking of the football team is in jeopardy. We'll find out when the second half begins after this pause from Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama.
Ready for a video cassette recorder? Magnavox is ready for you with up to 6 hours of recording per cassette. This touch-tune model lets you choose the TV shows you want to record up to 1 week in advance. Portable recorders and cameras too. So now you can record just about anything, anywhere, and in color. If you're ready for your video recorder, nobody is more ready than Magnavox. We make staying home fun.
Once again there's a feeling inside of me, nothing new. I felt it before.
There's a Hilton waiting somewhere along the way.
'Cause there's places that I've never been to, sunsets to be ridden into. Not a lot I can do but give in to the drifter in me.
When there's a drifter in you, there's no place like Hilton.
There's no place like Hilton.
With Ken Willard, we're at Legion Field in Alabama, and Tennessee's Johnny Majors, his team has a 17-7 lead, but his Volunteers have to kick off to the University of Alabama, led by Paul Bear Bryant. Boy, what statistics his teams have. Back through 1971, the Bear has just been something else again. The last 14 games, they have won in a row. Back through 1971, and the Crimson Tide standings, 198 wins, 38 losses, and 8 ties for Paul Bear Bryant. That's at Alabama in 22 years, and through 71, he's been almost unbeatable. Kicking off will be Alan Duncan Was a 45-yard field goal to his credit. Gets some foot into this, and it's going to be McNeil at the 4-yard line. McNeil trying to get outside. Hey, it's played well over there by the Tennessee defense. They stayed at home, and it was Lamont Holt who made the stop. Second down and short, and now hold it. Jacob says, I don't like what I see. Alabama's used quite a few of its timeouts here. They've only got one left.
This is Chris Berman at the ESPN Sports Center. Sorry to interrupt the ball game, but just want to explain a couple of things to you. From time to time, when things happen, occasionally when you're taping a ball game, you do have a tape problem. Well, that happened to us. We just missed 7 plays. Nothing happened as far as the scoring is concerned. Let me explain where the ball game is right now. The timeout was called by Alabama with 7:03 left in the third quarter. They had the ball on their own 37-yard line. They ran 7 plays. They got into Tennessee territory. So now we'll pick up the action is on the Tennessee 26-yard line. 7 plays later, Alabama has a 4th and 1 situation, okay? Now let's go back to Jim and Ken in Birmingham.
They'd be kicking into the wind, and it would be a long kick. So no kicker is out there yet. That's how far they've got to go. 4th down, a yard to go. Jacobs pitches the ball back. Ogilvie, touchdown.
He can smell that goal line, Taney.
Alabama goes ahead with 5 seconds to go, third quarter.
Fine run by Major Ogilvie. The stadium erupts.
He now has 8 touchdowns on the year, 2 today. Well, Alabama's going to be ahead 20 or 21 to 17, depending on this extra point. Well, what now must happen is that Tennessee moves the football. It's 21 to 17, Alabama. And the good thing for Alabama, or I should say Tennessee, is that Alabama will have to kick off into the wind. The bad thing is Tennessee will try to get its offense going against the wind.
Well, that's the only good thing that's happening to Tennessee so far in the second half is they'll get to receive that kickoff against, of course, against the wind. But Alabama has got it going. Tennessee has got to get it going.
That defense is tired. We've gone through 3 quarters. And at the end of 3, Alabama, the #1 team in the nation, 21, and Tennessee, 17.
When I was a young man starting out in business, I thought that someday I would own the world. So I started to read the Wall Street Journal. It helped. The Journal helped. I moved right along in business. But after a few years, I realized that I wasn't ever going to own the world. And you know what? I didn't want to anyway. All I wanted was to do my best. So I kept on reading the Wall Street Journal, and the Journal helped. It helped me to do my best. And these days, well, I still want to know. I have to know what's going on in business. I want to keep in touch. So I still read the Wall Street Journal, and the Journal still helps. It keeps me in touch. I guess I've spent all my adult life with the Journal. It hasn't failed me yet.
You can get 20 weeks of the Journal for $22. Call 1-800-228-2200. That's 1-800-228-2200. You'll be billed later. Do it now. The Wall Street Journal. It hasn't failed anyone yet.
This Strategic Air Command KC-135 is a vital link in our country's defense. The members of the Air Force Reserve who fly and maintain quite a few of these flying tankers are an equally vital link. Citizen airmen all over the country devote some of their spare time to this and to other Air Force missions. Why not find out what's in it for you?
Call now toll-free, 1-800-257-1212.
Weekends were made for Michelob.
The special weekend pride of a gourmet chef. What better accompaniment than the smooth and mellow taste of Michelob? Brewed naturally with the finest ingredients and very special care. Michelob, a very special beer.
Weekends were made for Michelob.
Yeah.